Hello, hello, ladies. Hi, Karen. Hi, Sandra. Oh, welcome back, ladies. It has been a couple of weeks. I hope everybody's doing great. Where is everyone today? Hello. Hi, Karen. All right, 7 p.m. Welcome, ladies, to our class today, our last educational class. So we have, in 2 weeks, we have one more Q&A class. And then 2 weeks after that, we have our final congratulatory celebration class. And that's it. So this is the last class where I'm going to be teaching you anything. Those of you who will be participating in the Ramadan detox, we do have a class on Tuesday. So that is another teaching class, but it's not part of this program. All of you should have received an email which basically added you to the Ramadan group. It had a link to join the Ramadan Detox Facebook group if you would like to do that. If you don't want to do that, I mean, if you feel like it's going to be too much to be in two groups, the information is a little bit different in there. But as you know, the groups are really about the support and the sharing and being in the community. So this group might be phasing out a bit. I mean, we will be doing in the next month mindful/intuitive eating work. And I will be giving you different exercises to implement on a daily basis. So you might want to be in both groups because we are doing different things in each group. But gauge yourself, right? I know that Ramadan is a very, very busy time. And for you, you've all sort of you have the food piece down, right? The Ramadan detox is going to be very, very easy for you. The recipes are very simple. It's not a deep detox. So for you, it's more about, if you choose to be in the Ramadan detox group, it's more going to be about sharing your experience, sharing recipes, getting some tidbits about fasting. If you feel like it's going to be too much, like I said, because I know Ramadan can be very busy, can be very hectic, I would rather you focus on our final stretch in this group and then focus on the prompts you're going to be getting in the next few weeks about mindful and intuitive eating, because that is the last piece of your journey here. So I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. I don't want you to feel like you have to be in both groups. If you feel like it's going to be too much, prioritize this group and just follow the meal plan from the Ramadan detox. All right. Karen, not sure I received that email. Okay, can you either email me to remind me, Karen, or tag me in the group, please? Hiba, have you shared already? No. You should have gotten just one email that sort of welcomes you into the Ramadan program and with a link to join the group. Nobody's gotten the materials or the meal plans yet. Everybody's going to get that on Tuesday. You and all the new ladies who are joining the Ramadan program. Tuesday morning, you're getting the email that has the meal plans and the recipes. All right, so nobody's gotten that. If that's what you're referring to, Karen, you should have just gotten one that had the link for the Facebook group. Okay, if not, again, send me an email to remind me. All right. So today, our final educational session is the final piece of this journey that you've been on, which is mindful or intuitive eating. Mindful or intuitive eating is the last phase of your self-empowerment around food and how you see food and how food makes you feel and the food choices that you make. It is about being able to decide what you want to eat, when you want to eat, and not have any fear or shame or guilt around what you're eating. That's what mindful and intuitive eating is. It is not about, we've gone through, most of us, you entered into this program probably coming in from a dieting mindset. And we talked a lot about that at the beginning. A dieting mindset is the very restricted way of thinking. It's all about following a very strict way of eating with only one goal in mind, which is to lose weight and change the number on the scale. It doesn't address healing, it doesn't address your symptoms, it doesn't address your cravings, it doesn't address your intelligence, it doesn't address your mood, it doesn't address your emotions. It does nothing beyond have you follow a strict way of eating with, and many times, you know, you're not even sure why you're following this way of eating. And it could be many different ways. There's so many different types of diets, calorie counting, you know, keto, you know, portion control, chemical diets, you know, of long ago. I don't know if anybody still does those, but as we know, they don't work long term. We've all been there. They'll work in the short term as you're powering through them because you have one very specific goal you want to reach. Once you reach that goal, because of all these things I've just listed, the restriction, the not respecting your intelligence, the ignoring your emotions and your cravings, the not healing you, so you might have lost weight, but you might still have diabetes, or you might still have joint pain, or you might still have night sweats, or you might still have insomnia. So it doesn't address all these things, so it's not sustainable long term. But dieting has always been our first entryway, so to speak, into figuring out how to eat. Like it's our first step in that we all take in to try and manage something, get a control over how we eat, because for so many of us, we didn't learn how to connect the way we eat to the way we feel, definitely never connected the way we eat to our symptoms. So everybody has to go through this process of dieting. It's part of the journey. You go through the dieting process, you go through this diet mentality and diet mindset, which is it's really difficult to break because so many of us cycle through so many diets in our lifetime, majority of us. So when we start to shift from that, so you enter this program, almost all of you, this is what happened to me with my first detox. It was all about probably, right, let me do this detox. Let me see again how much weight I can lose. Or I'm just going to do this for, you know, the limited period of time, you know, maybe just the 28 days, and then I can go back to eating how I want, because I can see that there's a lot of restrictions here. So again, even coming into a healing program like this, we all came into it with remnants, you know, it's full on for some of you, remnants, very little bits and pieces for others of the diet mindset. So we've slowly been trying to deconstruct that and understand that healing is not dieting and dieting is not healing. That in order for you to get to the next level in terms of your mindset, more than anything, you have to understand that healing, even though it felt like that at the beginning, is not about restriction, is not about a timeline. We don't have a finish line. It is actually about abundance. It is actually not about portion control or counting calories. It is not about jumping on a scale. It is about expansion. It is about a long life journey, complete opposite of what diets are. And now that we've done that, and we can still, even I still have every once in a while the diet mindset jump back in. This is normal. What we're trying to do here is to catch it when we get it and to keep elevating our experience from dieting to healing to intuitive. So when you've understood how your body works, and you're going to keep working on your body, and your body's going to keep challenging you as long as you're evolving and as long as you're alive. So remember, I said you're not done. You've created a foundation for understanding your body, but our bodies evolve. So you're always going to have to be in tune and always going to be relearning how to understand your body. But from where you are now, you are in the healing mindset, and you've gotten a really great grasp on the type of foods that work for your body and the type of foods that don't, and the type of foods that keep you feeling amazing and symptom-free, and the types of foods that don't. So you have already taken yourself to another level of consciousness, another level of empowerment when it comes to your health. The final level is I don't want to use perfecting, is really getting in touch with intuitive eating. The more you get in touch with intuitive eating, the more you know that you have really let go of the diet mindset, because intuitive eating has nothing, because even though some of you right now, you're in the healing mindset, there is a little bit still, and maybe a lot for some of you, fear around eating foods that you know are not healing foods, right? Fear around going out and not having the right choices for yourself. Fear around going out to your family's houses or being invited out and being faced with all the foods that you know are not really great for you, and this worry around what are you going to do with these foods? Should you eat them? Should you not eat them? So this is still a little bit of diet mindset, right? That fear. So intuitive eating gets rid of that fear. It gets rid of the shame. A lot of you are still we're in that mindset or where you feel like you have to come in and confess, like then I did this and I need to tell you I did this. That's still partly dieting, and that's okay. It's going to take time to overcome that. So what we're going to do with getting to mindful or intuitive eating is letting go of the shame and the guilt and the fear and being able to eat whatever you want, whether that's optimally healthy or not so optimally healthy. Always they're going to be the same way that you have your smoothie and your celery juice and your salads, and you don't feel shame or fear or guilt around eating those. When you decide to go and have a burger, pasta, whatever it is for you, you're going to consume those foods with the same energetics of no fear, no shame, no guilt as you do when you consume the celery and the smoothie and the salads and the veggies and all the healing foods. Because remember what we said, the way that you eat is not a judge on your character. You're not a good or bad person based on how you eat. So this is how you should approach food. And right now, and we could only do that by getting your body through these phases, by healing the body physically, and then understanding your emotional triggers, which is what we did with the emotional eating class. Because before that, you had no idea why you were eating or what was triggering your eating habits. Now that you have a better idea of it, you understand that there might be a day where you are physically craving something. Maybe you didn't eat for a few hours. Maybe you ate something that is not very full of nutrients. So the next day your body needs something that is more full of nutrients. So it's gravitating towards something. Maybe you know that you had a really emotionally draining day or an emotionally draining week. And you know that on some level, we never ever get rid of our emotional need for food. So you want to use food to comfort you. And so you do it. You make a conscious decision to do it. And that's intuitive eating. Intuitive eating can also look like waking up and not wanting breakfast, not wanting to do your morning routine. It just doesn't feel right that morning. It can feel like going for many hours, not going. We establish certain guidelines at the beginning, like don't go for more than 2 hours without food. But then as you get really comfortable in your body and really tune into your body, you might feel like, you know what? I'm really focused on what I'm doing at work, or maybe I'm doing something at home, maybe I'm socializing and I'm not hungry at all. I'm more into what I'm doing and what I'm doing to feed my soul. And I'm not hungry right now. And maybe you'll go 4 or 5 hours without food. That's intuitive eating. Intuitive eating can also be, actually, you know what? I'm going into this meeting at work, and this meeting at work is going to last maybe 3 hours. So I won't be able to eat for 3 hours. I'm not really that hungry right now, but let me eat now before I go into this meeting, because I know I'll get hungry in the meeting and I don't want that to happen. It is working around what your body is communicating with you. You become, as the word is, intuitive, very intuitive. It's not so much anymore about following a strict schedule. It's not about perfection. Can never be about perfection. Diets are very much about perfection, where if you have a few calories more, then you've messed up. If you have a food that's not included, then all your efforts go down the drain. It's not about perfection. It is about understanding your body so well, understanding your triggers so well that you reach a level of confidence with every single choice that you make with food, whether it's optimally healthy or not. And not only do you reach a level of confidence and no fear, this is really important too, but you reach a level of peace. You're no longer arguing with yourself. You're no longer arguing with your brain. You're no longer having this inner dialogue, inner conflict of what should I eat and I shouldn't eat this and do I need to eat this? And when that starts to dissipate, when that starts to disappear little by little, you know that you're getting into higher and higher levels of intuitive eating. So, but this does take some guidance and some practice. So what we're going to do in the next few weeks is in the Facebook group, I will be prompting you. So you do need to check the Facebook group, not journal prompts as we did with emotional eating, but more of actual activities for you to practice. Some of them are a little bit journal related, but actual practices, mindset practices, actual physical practices that you can start to do in order for you to elevate yourself again into another higher level of consciousness, which is intuitive eating. We're going to talk a lot about satisfaction, because intuitive eating means you need to be satisfied with what you're eating. We're going to talk about how to release the shame and the fear and the guilt. We're going to talk about movement, because intuitive eating is about, when we talk about satisfaction, what other things can you do in your life that can give you satisfaction? And one of those that is really key to this is movement. And then, and this is something I'm going to ask you all to do this week, I forget which post, either tomorrow or the day after, we're going to get rid of the scale. You know you've reached the highest level of mindfulness and intuitive eating when that number on the scale is no longer significant. It doesn't control you. It doesn't scare you. You don't even need to know it. So this is, I think, probably going to be for most of you, one of the hardest things you're going to do is you're going to give your scale away, or if somebody else in your family still uses it, hide it, but you are not going to get on the scale for the next month at least, as we go through the exercises to increase your sense of intuitive eating and increase your sense of confidence and no fear and peace with yourself, with how you eat, and with your body. All right, so this has just been an introduction. The actual steps, you'll see the first post tomorrow in the group and for the next few weeks until we complete our time together. Any questions, ladies? No. Okay. Email was sent on February 6th. Yes, Sandra, thank you. Yeah. Sandra, go ahead.
Hi, Dana. You asked me last time to email you, but I'm sorry I didn't get the chance to do that yet. So I was wondering if you want me to ask my question here, because last time we didn't have a chance, or would you still like me to email you one-on-one?
Email me one-on-one, please.
Okay.
Email me one-on-one. Anybody else have a question on this, a concern? Everybody's okay with giving up the scale for the next while? Okay, good. Sure, amazing, wonderful. I was worried about that because I have actually had ladies who told me, no way, I'm not gonna put my scale away. Be open to this. The same way that so many things a couple months ago seemed so beyond your abilities, so scary, things that you've never done before, and look at where you are today. This is just another level of that. We are just getting out of another comfort zone. Every time you think you have gotten out of one comfort zone and you've accomplished something that you thought you couldn't accomplish, the nature of evolution, if you are continuously evolving as a human being, is that you are going to jump from one comfort zone to another, to another, to another. That's just how growth works. So this is another comfort zone that we're going to be coming out of in the next few weeks. Sandra, go ahead.
Sorry again. So you said intuitive eating is like being satisfied with what you're eating.
Part of it.
If we're,
yes.
Part of it. Okay.
Yeah.
What if we're not? Like, I mean, it is a new thing for me to eat like lots of fruits and vegetables, and I'm getting used to it now, but like it's still like not easy for me actually to go to these things. Like even if I have them ready and they're in my fridge, I do not go to these, like I like the broccoli
Mm.
or you know, like things like that. I don't mind the protein and salad every single day, just like the variety of vegetables. That's what I struggle with.
Mm.
And the timing, like I can eat every 2 hours, but like not real food. I used to snack every 2 hours. So actually like making me eat every 2 or 3 hours fruits and vegetables, I was able to do it for the duration of the 21 days, and after that it's like hard work for me.
Okay, so this is a perfect place for you to start. I would start with the timing. So regardless of what I'm going to be posting on the group as exercises for you to do, what I want you to do is only eat when you want to, starting tomorrow.
Okay.
Don't follow the every 2 hours, okay? Because now it feels forced for you, and anytime something feels forced, you're moving away from being intuitive. We had to establish, like I said, a foundation at the beginning. We had to establish a system. We had to establish, you know, the prescription, the dose of how to eat, what to eat, and when to eat in order to trigger your body into healing mode. All right. And so it was very necessary at the beginning to have the system in place, for us to have the discipline to follow this system so that we can, because there's just a way for the body to heal. But once you get into that system, you're either going to see that you naturally can continue to follow the guidelines of the system, or you're going to need to tweak it. And needing to tweak it is 100% part of the process also, and 100% normal. So if something feels very forced for you at this point, then that's your starting point. So I would wake up tomorrow and think, do I want to have my lemon and my celery right now or not? Like, do that with every part of every meal that you would technically be having throughout the day. This goes obviously for everybody. And see, when do I want to eat? And only eat when you want to eat. We'll work on the satisfaction part in the exercises we're going to do in the group, because there are ways that either you are automatically satisfied or you find ways to be satisfied. All right. So that takes a little bit more work. But in terms of timing, this is very simple. Only eat when you feel like eating, starting tomorrow.
Okay. Even if it means I will eat just one meal per day, because I can do that.
Let's see. But again, do you do that because that's actually you're following your body's signs? You're following what your body wants you to do? Or is it because there's a part of you that feels like eating less is better for me because I might lose weight? Like that could also be restriction coming from an old programming of dieting. So you're the only one who could figure that out. So actually, or does it happen naturally because you're just very busy all day?
Yes, it's so for example, I can eat like if I find cucumbers and carrots, for example, I can eat that and that's it.
Mhm.
Or like before that, I used to go for the chocolate bar and a bag of chips, and that's it. So
Okay.
in general, I'm more towards, you know, like just to satisfy, you know, like the hunger with a very short solution, and then I move on.
Okay.
And I can only have just one meal per day. My weight is not my concern.
Okay.
It was just like I think it's a bad habit. That's it.
No judgment, right? So we're not judging. We're also not judging what we're doing. So we're not saying this is a bad habit or this is a good habit. We're trying to figure out if this is an intuitive habit. Okay.
Okay.
So also start to catch yourself with the words that are you're trying to define what you're doing. Is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? The only reason you're going to eat or not eat at certain times, or the only reason you're going to eat certain foods and not eat other foods, is because your body is telling you that this is what you need to do. And your body knows best. So the next step after that is to see then, after a week, after 2 weeks? Does me not eating on the times as per the earlier portion of the program, do I still feel good eating this way? Am I still symptom-free eating this way? So that's always going to be what you come back to, your baseline, right? All right, so is this way of eating, even though I'm being intuitive about it, is it serving me? In most cases, it will. In most cases. I've rarely seen somebody who understands healing and eats all the healing foods and has the right mindset, you know, start to move into more intuitive eating. And then unless their intuitive eating becomes very emotionally based and it takes them, you know, to eating every 2 days, you know, having a pizza, or every 2 days having a melted cheese sandwich, right? So then you know, then there is an imbalance there and it will end up not serving you in the end. So we're talking about intuitive eating where you are very conscious of what you're putting in your body, but it's not forced.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else? This will all become more clear as, and like anything else, ladies, you need to go and look at the posts I'm going to share, and they're not complicated, right? But you actually need to do the work. You need to do what I'm going to ask you to do over the next few weeks in order for you to anchor in, right? Oh, so this is what intuitive eating is. This is what mindful eating is. It's not just something that's just going to just fall on you. Like, you're not just going to it's not a download that you're just suddenly going to get. You need to work for it. You need to work the process in order to get to that resolution. All right. Karen, you found it. Wonderful. Okay. Anybody else have a question or comment for me? Okay, so like I said, this is our last educational class. These next few weeks, you will be getting the daily posts, 1 post a day in the morning with a quick activity, something for you to think about, something for you to do in order to start to integrate intuitive/mindful eating into your next level of self-empowerment around food. We have in 2 weeks a Q&A class where I won't be teaching anything, just taking all your final questions. So that'll be the last opportunity for you to come in with questions, concerns, you know, revelations, whatever you want to call it. That's in 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks after that, we'll have our celebratory class where I won't be teaching and you won't be asking any questions. We're just going to be celebrating each other and celebrating you for completing the program. The only educational class you're going to have is if you're participating in the Ramadan detox on Tuesday, the day after tomorrow. We have the Ramadan program only has 1 call, so it'll be around an hour to an hour and a half, where I'm going to explain the process, how it works, fasting, suhoor, iftar, the food, all of this, and taking everybody's questions. So if you are participating, then yes, you will have 1 more educational class in that respect. I highly recommend you take the next few weeks because the group will close on April 4th. If there's been anything in the past couple of months in terms of posts, questions, threads, information that you want to keep for future use, I highly recommend that you take this time to go into the group to, you know, the photos are easy. The photos that have captions and things like that are very easy to download and save. Copy paste any post that I've shared that you'd like to keep. If there's a specific topic that you recall we maybe had a thread on, or you asked a question about, and you don't want to scroll through the whole group to find it, use the finder, just type in, you know, eggs or gluten or whatever it is that you had a question on, and you're going to find it will pop up all the times that this topic came up and everything that was ever posted about it. So you can copy paste anything that you want. This can take time if there's quite a bit of information that you would like to hang on to and keep for yourself. So you do have about 4 weeks, exactly 4 weeks, a month to do this. So, and this is also a great way to review everything that we've done. Also, if you haven't been watching or if you've missed some of our Zoom sessions, please make sure to go back and rewatch those in case you have any questions before we wrap up our time together. Sandra, go ahead.
Sorry again. A quick question regarding the kids, regarding mindful eating as well. So because they see me like changing, like the behavior in eating, so they, like my eldest one, she's only 7, but she started saying, is this healthy to eat? And so on. So, but I don't know if I, like, am I, like, I don't want to be like pushing it on her, but as well, like I want them to change, but and I struggle with the way they eat. It's like, for example, the morning, I don't know actually what to offer for breakfast. So for example, sometimes they would have fruit for breakfast, and other times they just want, like cereal, milk, or grilled cheese sandwich. So so these are basically 2 questions, like is it okay like that they're starting to ask if this healthy or not, and the other one is what actually to have for breakfast. And
by all means, when they're asking if something is healthy or not, explain it to them 100%. You are giving them a great foundation from a very, very young age, and they need to know, especially, and this can be, you can definitely open up this conversation with them even bigger, right? Like explaining to them like what's healthy versus what they're seeing on TV, versus what they're seeing in commercials, versus what they're seeing marketed to them, and explain that those things that you see on TV and you see in commercials are not healthy. And as far as, as much as that they can understand as a 7-year-old, right? But this is really important. Don't shy away from that conversation with them. In terms of what should you offer them, remember that you are the parent always. And if you and your husband are on board with this, you can and this is what my husband and I did, even though he wasn't completely on board with it. When I first became a health coach, he reluctantly agreed because he trusted me, I guess. That was it. We just eliminated these foods from our house, plain and simple. We eliminated. There's no bread, there's no cheese, there's no milk, there's no cereal. It was just like, right, these are out, done. And that's it. So
what do you offer?
Sorry?
What do you offer, for example, for breakfast or for a lunchbox?
Smoothies, fruits. My son he was 3 at the time. So he loved taking warm food to school. I used to give him the roza malukhaya for school. He loved it. Or rozu bisella. He loved that with a fruit. I used to give him fresh juice in the container, but the juice was kind of a hit or miss, because sometimes it would go bad, sometimes it wouldn't. But yeah, he was drinking green juice, and he loved strawberry jam. So I would make a homemade strawberry jam, and I would give him gluten-free toast with strawberry jam and a green juice every single morning.
Okay, thank you.
Obviously now he's 16, right? And when he goes out, he eats whatever he wants with his friends. But at home, until today, the only time you're going to find cheese or bread or any of these things in my refrigerator is if I have guests, if I have people, friends, family, people staying with me. If we have had, like azuma, and we've had people over, breakfast, brunch, a dinner, a lunch or something, and I have leftovers. But in terms of our grocery shopping on a regular basis, these things don't come into the house, and they haven't. They only come into our house on an exceptional basis, not a regular basis. So, but this is something you decide on as a parent, right? Like in the same way, I mean, I don't know how many of you have saw this. I'm going to share this in a few days in a post. Finally, they've done a study with over 10 million people. I forget over how long. And finally, and not everybody has seen this study, which is shocking to me. They're finally admitting that ultra-processed foods have to be treated like cigarettes. And ultra-processed foods are bread, pasta, cheese, yogurts, junk food, all the things. And finally, mainstream is starting to say what we have been saying for many, many years, that you have to, that these foods lead to cancer and lead to diseases. This was the point of the study. And it listed all the diseases and all the issues created by these foods. And then it said these foods have to be treated as if they're cigarettes. So would you bring cigarettes into your home and give your kids cigarettes and say, here, you have the choice? That's how dangerous these foods are to be consumed on a regular basis. The dairy, the cheese, the pasta, the processed foods, the sugars, the candy, the chips, the junk, the cereals, all of these are ultra-processed foods. And they finally did this study. Nobody knows about it because I don't know why. This study should have been posted everywhere. Like I said, I will share it, but they're finally saying these ultra-processed foods have to be treated as if they're cigarettes. So as a conscientious parent, knowing this, and all of you here know more than this because you learned about it and then you've applied it and you've seen the difference, at what point are you going to make that decision for your whole family and for your kids especially, knowing how dangerous these foods are? It's one thing for my 16-year-old to go out on the weekend and have these things with his friends, no biggie, because the rest of the week at home, he's not eating any of this. Yes, he might complain about it because he's at the age where he does. And my daughters, when they were his age, complained about it all the time. But your kids are going to complain about almost everything you do as a parent, right? When the things that you know best, that are better for them, that they don't want to do, they're going to complain about all of that anyway. So this is just one more thing that is your responsibility as a parent. So it's not about, what should I give them? It's about, am I supposed to give them this or not? And at what point do I say I'm going to exercise my power as a parent? And your kids are so young that it's so much easier to do when they're little than to start when they're teenagers. Anybody else? Okay, ladies, I'm looking forward to seeing your responses to the Facebook group prompt starting tomorrow. And let me know what's happening with you. Keep me posted. Let me know if you have any questions that are coming up for you. I'll probably see you, some of you, most of you, on Tuesday in the Ramadan class and in the Ramadan group. If not, I will see you all here again, same time, same place in 2 weeks. All right. Take care, ladies.